Welcome to Homefront Sit Rep. I hope you're in for a great show today, because I'm just a veteran talking about what's on my mind and maybe you.
You can find Homefront Sit Rep on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. You can also check out Homefront Sit Rep's YouTube channel.
Buckle up, the show is starting. Welcome, everybody, to a Monday edition of Homefront Sit Rep. How is everybody doing? Man, if you're in Kentucky and this weather today, this bipolar Mother Nature that came threw everybody for a loop today. We were supposed to just get a dusting, but man, it came down. I think we probably got about 2 inches, probably, or somewhere around there. And, everybody was, oh, we're just getting a dusting. No, we got a little bit more than a dusting, because when I woke up this morning, it was still snowing. Weather Channel was saying, oh, just a wintry mix. And I work outside all day long. So, and I can't bury lines in the snow. You just can't do it. So needless to say, we went out to our first job, and boss was like, all right, just come back into the office. And we pretty much sat in the office all day today. So thank you, Mother Nature, for that. Always good to sit around, be lazy for the day every now and then. So, but man, Gunny is on his way to Las Vegas for a conference. So that's why Gunny's not here tonight. He will be in the bunker next Sunday. So stay tuned for that. Gunny will be in the bunker live right next to me here. As long as you don't rub my leg, we'll be all right. But man, tonight's guest, man, you guys, as veterans, we all deal with our demons. Some deal with alcohol, deal with our demons with alcohol, try to help cover the demons. Some deal with You could have sat with me, James. You're right. You could have. Some of us go to medication to help deal with the demons. Um, Marie, how are you? How are you, Miss Marie? How are you? So we all deal with things that uh, help us forget temporarily. I know when I was in the Marine Corps, I went down that slippery slope and I started drinking really, really heavy to the point where it was affecting my day job of being a United States Marine. And luckily, I had a great chain of command. Staff Sergeant Westall, he's probably now Gunny Westall if he's not out. But that was many moons ago. He might even be. I don't know what he is. But at the time, he was Staff Sergeant Westall. Him and my first lieutenant took care of me and sent me to detox. And man, I can't thank them enough for taking care of me. Um, but we as veterans, we don't have that. And uh, sometimes we have to find it on our own to recover. And our guest tonight, he runs a podcast called This Sober Vet. Just a little bit of brief. Today on the show, we sit down with a man whose story cuts straight to the heart of what it means to serve, to struggle, and to rise again. Joe Yurick is a United States Army veteran who answered the call in 2000, trained as a Patriot missile operator, and deployed to the Middle East in the shadow of 9/11, serving with honor through the early years of the GWAT. But Joe's greatest battle didn't happen overseas. It came after the uniform came off, when the weight of the transition, trauma, and silence drove him into years of alcohol abuse and self-destruction. Bro, that right there says it all. I don't have to say much more on that. And we all go down that path, and some of us end up being part of the 22. And that's because of the alcohol infused rage, whatever. We go down that path. Some of us come out the other end and some of us don't. And luckily Joe is one that came out on the other end and is in a better place now. So I'm super excited to bring him up. I know Marie is over here. She's super excited to have you know for this interview as well. So without further ado, let's bring him up.
Hey,
Joe,
Willis, how are you?
I'm good, sir. How are you? Thank you for coming on and hanging out with us for this hour. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come hang out with us for an hour.
Yeah, it's an honor. Can I just say real quick, your intro is totally badass. Definitely jelly. It's nice.
Thank you. So I got two, and this one was my, I don't know, my second or third one that I had that I created, and then I have another one that made Marie cry. I didn't play it tonight. I knew she was going to be in chat, and I was like, I'm not going to play that one tonight. But I have two really, really good ones.
Nice.
One and another one. And I don't know if you can see the comments. Do you see comments over here? So
I do not.
go at the top of your screen where the comment section would be, and right now it says private chat, and then click on comments. You should be able to click on the comments. That way you can see the comments coming through on this. You should be able to see some comments.
Oh, here we go. Yep, now I see him. Okay.
You'll be able to see.
Hey, Murray.
So you'll be able to see the comments coming up. But yeah, man, thank you for that. That's an AI generated song. I just kind of put in there what I gave it an idea of what I wanted, came up with that. Then I had to go find piece video together to make it pretty badass. And then I created another one and used the same video but a different song to it. And one is 3 minutes 7 seconds, one's 3 minutes and 14 seconds. But enough about me and Homefront Sit Rep. Let's talk about you, Mr. Joe. Do me a favor, introduce yourself to the world of Homefront Sit Rep, if you don't mind.
Hi, everybody. My name is Joe Yurick. I'm a Army veteran. I worked with the Patriot missile system. I was a 14 Tango in the Army. Joined my senior year in 2000, which quick story about that. So my senior year of high school, I had no direction. I was a class clown. I had my own desk in the in-school suspension room. I was on academic probation for my senior prom. I actually had to sign a document before I graduated to be able to walk the stage. So that kind of tells you where my head was at my senior year. Well, my best friend halfway through my senior year came up to me and said, "Hey, I've been talking to Army Recruiter. We could join in something called the Buddy Program, where we go to boot camp together and our first duty station together." I was like, "All right, dude, I got your back. Let's do it." So in December, we signed up in the delayed entry program. We weren't leaving until August after we graduated. Well, 2 weeks before we go to leave, my buddy backed out.
Oh
And here I
man.
am. Yeah, so I go in. Wasn't really my plan, but I'm a man of my word. So yeah, I still went in, and I was um, August of 2000. I did my boot camp, Fort Sill, Lawton, Oklahoma. I did my AIT, where I learned to work with the Patriot missile system at Fort Bliss in El Paso, Texas. And that's actually where my love for alcohol really ramped up. Like I drank in high school, like most people do. But when I got to Fort Bliss, we're right across the border from Juarez, Mexico, where you only had to be 18 to drink. So
Mm.
the leadership at the time, thinking they would keep more soldiers stateside, they lowered the drinking age on post to 18. So when I
Oh,
got there, I was like, wait, I could go to class 6 and buy whatever I want, whenever I want, and just get white girl wasted in the barracks. I was like, this is awesome. So I took full advantage of that, not realizing then that it was set me up for failure later in life.
see, I didn't know they changed the alcohol age because I was a jarhead, and of course, we only have like two main bases here stateside, uh, and when we went overseas, like even Korea, where drinking age is what 16, 17 over there in South Korea, they were like, nope, you got to be 21 to drink, and then on base, um, Marie says she resents that mark that white
My
girl wasted.
bad. Sorry. Sorry, Mary.
But yeah, so the Marines changed it. It was like, oh, you can't drink and no drinking on base. And then when they did allow it, they're like, oh, you can only have two. So they controlled that shit. And that, of course, this was in 97 to '01 the first time. So when I was in the first time, and uh, yeah, so that's crazy that they lowered the drinking age just because you were so close to Mexico. Of course, it is Juarez, Mexico, and we all know what happens down there. So I
Mhm.
could see them trying to keep you guys stateside instead of going across the border.
Yeah,
Plus, they
but
don't.
between you and I though, in between pay periods, when you're really broke, we would still go down to Juarez because there's this bar called Tequila Derby where you only had to pay $10 to get in, and it was drink and drown. So if you get there when they opened around 8, you could drink until 2 a.m. off that $10.
Oh dang,
So yeah,
dang. Okay, okay.
yeah, we had some wild nights down there.
Oh, I guarantee it. I guarantee it. I can only imagine. So here you are. You're in the army. And you're get deployed overseas, right? And then you come back home from there because I don't know how much of your story you want to talk about military wise. I don't. Where do you kind of want to transition into? Do you want to talk about life after the military? Or do you want to go ahead and start talking a little bit about your military service first? What you did while you were in? Uh,
Yeah, I could touch on that a little bit because alcohol did have a big factor because we only had to be 18 to drink. Halfway through my almost 4 years of service, I did get Article 15 for drunk on duty. Um, on Friday at the final formation, First Sergeant's like, "Hey, we're getting an influx of soldiers. So if you're E4 or below, buddy up, or I'll give you a roommate." So my buddy and I looked at each other. We're like, "Hey, you want to bunk up?" So all weekend we like merged our rooms, and then Sunday evening when we were all done, he was like, "Hey, we got Chris in the room. I'm gonna run down class 6. I'll be right back." The dude comes back with a tall bottle of 151 and a
oh,
2 liter of Coke. And I'm like, "What are you doing, dude?" And he was like, "Hear me out. We're gonna make one mixed drink, one 151 and Coke, and then every 15 minutes we're gonna take a shot till this bottle's gone." And as a young soldier, I was like, "Okay." which is
Oh,
so stupid in hindsight.
oh,
So yeah, so Monday morning when we were supposed to be out buffing the hallway, we were both passed out, and we had Jack and Jill bathrooms connecting our barracks rooms. So
yeah,
the maintenance platoon sergeant went through my roommate's room. First, he came in the bathroom, saw my roommate hugging the toilet, passed out there. Then he came into the room and saw me laying next to a pile of throw up. So yeah, he was like, "Get down to formation, stay in your civilians. I'm taking you right to the hospital for a BAC." So yeah, after formation, he drove us to William Beaumont, which was a hospital right off post. And I forget, we were like a point, I don't know, 102 or something. Like it was
ooh,
pretty high for the morning after. And
yeah,
yes, so we got Article 15. I went from E3 down to E2, had to do 60 days extra duty. And the dumb thing is, again, looking back, it's so stupid. Every day after formation, we would have to do site beautification somewhere as punishment. But on Saturdays, we would have to do like 6 hours of it. So they would take us to like either on or off post housing. We would weed whack to police clean up stuff. Well, on the way there, we'd stop at the Class 6 to grab some lunch, something to eat. Well,
yeah,
I would make sure no one was looking. I'd buy the little pony airplane bottles of liquor
yeah,
and then shove them in my cargo pant pox. And then when we would get to wherever we were doing site beautification, I'm like, hey, sir, I'm going to start down at that fence line and weed whack my way back up. So I go to the farthest point, pound these things, hide them, and then just weed whack the way back. Like, just so stupid because here I am, got Article 15 for drunk on duty. Now I'm actively drinking on duty.
on
Like,
duty, yeah,
dude, my addiction had no ends. Like, it was crazy. And then we deployed, and I was good when we deployed because, like, I didn't want to mess around with that. When we got in the country, we were protecting Central Command, which was in Doha. So we originally set up in the northern tip of Qatar. It was a place called Ras Laffan. As third
all right, did I lose him?
the Gulf, and then we in place right outside of Kuwait City for a while, and then Third ID took over Baghdad, and at that point there was no more air threat. So then we sent our equipment home. We stayed in country for a little bit to pull details with other units. I actually my MOS got stop lost the day I was supposed to get out. We were just in placing outside of Kuwait City. I had college lined up, I had a job lined up, and needs of the government, so they stop lost me. I think it was for like 10 months. Um, yeah, and then when we came back early '04, I they tempted me with re-enlisting and going to Germany, which I really wanted to do, but I was like, you know what? I just survived the war. I came back with most of my sanity and all my limbs, so I figured me and Uncle Sam were square. So I got an honorable discharge early '04.
Nice. So here you are. You did your time in service. You've already kind of went down the rabbit hole of drinking. The addiction, it's already got you. Like it's got its claw in you, right? I know for me, like it was really hard. Once, of course, I was predisposed to drinking a lot anyway because of where I was born and raised. But it's got its claw in you, right? And here you are. You're getting out of the military. You're losing that sense of purpose. You're losing that sense of camaraderie. How did that affect the drinking that was going on? Did it ramp it up? Did it what did it do to you?
It totally amplified it. I didn't think I would have an issue going home, but yeah, once I got home, like, and back in '04, there really wasn't any programs to help with that transition. So you're kind of left on your own. And when I first got out, I stayed with my dad and stepmom just for like a month and a half until I could find an apartment. And at that point, my stepmom was like, "Whoa, you're drinking way too much." So I was like, "I don't need anybody to tell me how much I'm drinking." So that motivated me to get an apartment real quick. But now here I am alone in an apartment. Now I'm over 21, so I could buy alcohol, liquor anywhere. And the quietness kind of settles in because I miss that ethos of brotherhood I had with my brothers and sisters, like, because we did everything together. And our unit was unique in the sense that we all got along really well. We all partied together. There wasn't really much segregation. Like, we were just one big drunken family. Like, we dubbed ourselves, we were the ADA, Air Defense Artillery. We dubbed ourselves Alcoholics Defending America. Like, it was just kind of like an inside joke. But yeah, when I got home, like, I found myself alone a lot. I try to hang out with my civilian friends, but they all noticed a difference in me. They all noticed my humor was a lot darker, and they're like, dude, what is wrong with you? They noticed how much I was drinking, how fast, and like, so I didn't really go out with them much because they all were kind of looking at me side-eyed. So yeah, I would stay at home and drink a lot because I was by myself. Like I would get a tall bottle of Southern Comfort and I wouldn't go to bed till it was gone. And I'd do like SoCo and Coke, and it was just me finishing a bottle this big. Like that's not good.
Yeah, definitely not good. I remember many a nights polishing off a bottle of Jim Beam and Coke, and of course, I drank a lot on my own. I've always been the type of person that I didn't really hang out with a lot of people while I was drinking, like on duty and stuff like that. And my friends that I had while I was in the military, um, were with 2-8, and when I switched over to 1st Battalion and 8th Marines is when I caught my wife cheating on me. So I didn't really know a whole lot of guys in the unit. I had a couple people that I talked to at work and stuff like that, but other than that, I didn't really know a whole lot of them. So I was drinking pretty heavily at that time, and I would stay in my barracks room. You know, the guys would be gone for the weekend because as a E4 is just you and another guy in the room, just two guys in our room. Normally it's three, but we were lucky and only had two, and um, so I would drink in the barracks room all weekend, and then come into formation on Monday morning, reeking of bourbon because I would go. I'd
Yep.
have 3 bottles for the whole weekend. You know, Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night,
Mhm.
and reeking of bourbon the next morning during PT, and it was just pouring out of my pores. And it slowly started affecting everything. Miss Maddox, how are you? So it started affecting everything, and it's just when they told me, "Hey, you need help," I knew at that time, I knew that I needed to do something or I was gonna go down a different rabbit hole. So I kinda fixed myself and said, "Yes, I need help." I knew I needed it, and I just like, "All right, let's do it," and that's when I got sent to detox. But here you are, you're in your apartment by yourself, nobody around. What helped you or what motivated you to take the sobriety the route?
So let's fast forward a couple years. I met my wife at a bar, and we eventually moved in together. We started a family together, and all through this time, I'm drinking because again, she met me at a bar. But as you know, with alcohol, the tolerance just gets higher, so then you need to drink more to get there. Well, my wife started noticing it was a problem when I became a business owner because I would do a lot of networking because you got to network to get work. And a lot of these networking events are at bars. And I would be
Mm,
coming home way too drunk. Like, and again, I own a drunk removal company, so we're driving, we're on the road all day, every day. If I were to get a DUI, would be out of business, which is,
right.
it's just so irresponsible. So it got to a point where my wife was like, listen, we need to dial this back. Let's, why don't you only drink on the weekends? So I was like, all right, that's fine. Yeah, you're right. I do have an issue, so let's kind of limit it. Well, on the weekends, I would just hit it extra hard because now I know I'm only limited to 3 nights of drinking. So that we had to kind of pump the brakes on. And she was like, all right, why don't you just have 3 beers? And that way you're not getting wasted, but you're still getting your buzz. And for my addiction, that wouldn't work. So what I would do is I would buy these high octane beers, 9, 10% double IPAs, Belgium IPAs, and I would buy little bottles of SoCo and then strategically hide them throughout the house. So in
Mm,
front of my wife, she could see I'm only drinking 3 beers, but every time I disappear to get another one or switch the laundry over or do the dishes, I'm pounding these shots of SoCo. So like I'm still getting where I need to be, but now I'm lying and being deceitful to my wife. Well, one night I came back, actually it wasn't even a night. I came back from a networking event at like 4:30 in the afternoon and I passed out on the couch in the living room because I was that drunk.
oh, man.
So when my wife got home, she sees me passed out and she's like, you know what, enough's enough. Like, I got to figure out what this guy is drinking. So she took that time to go search the house. She found my stash. She found like 6 empty bottles of SoCo, and I was dumb enough to keep the receipts with them so she could see how often I was buying them. So she
Oh,
set all the bottles up next to the table, next to the sofa where I was passed out, took a picture so she had evidence. Because if there is no evidence, I'm deny, deny. What are you talking about? I didn't buy it. I'm not doing that. But yeah, she had physical evidence. So she had written me a letter. She sent me the picture and was like, when you get home from work, we need to talk. And I'm like, crap. So I'll never forget, we sat on the front porch. She looked me in my eye with tears and was like, it's either us or the drinking. Like you're not listening to any rules I'm giving you. You're being deceitful. You're being reckless, driving drunk. You're drinking way too much and hiding it. Like you either need to stop drinking or you need to leave. And I'm like, what do you mean I need to leave? Like this is my house. I pay the mortgage. And she was like, no, me and the kids have done nothing wrong. You're the one messing up. If you want to continue down this path, you need to leave. And I was like, crap. Like that just it literally slapped me upside my head, and I was like, you know what, like I'm a child of divorce. When we got married, I was like, no matter what happens in our journey, we're never getting a divorce because I didn't want to put my kids through that. So
right.
seeing my wife, who I love with all my heart, who chose to be with me, has my last name, we built this amazing family together, to witness her willing to leave me over me choosing to put a liquid in my mouth, I was like, this is stupid. Like, I don't want to lose this. So I was like, all right, babe, like, I'll quit, but why don't we do it 6 months? I'll quit for 6 months. We'll reassess after that. Because with my level of addiction, quitting forever was unobtainable. That was like,
Right.
there's no way I could stop forever. So I was like, let's do 6 months and we'll reassess. So she agreed to that. She let me stay. I quit cold turkey that day, which in hindsight was super dangerous because you can potentially die, especially
You
with the
can.
level I was drinking. So luckily I was fine. And I didn't even know you could die from quitting just like that. So all you listeners, if you're at that level, seek medical guidance before you decide to go cold turkey. So yeah, I quit. A couple months go by, and like it was the hardest thing I've ever done because first of all, I felt naked. I felt totally exposed. I felt like the armor and the shield I had against the world was now gone. I was feeling all my emotions. I couldn't mask anything. If I was angry, I would have to be angry. If I was happy, I'd be happy. But one thing I did start noticing was these small wins where, like, yeah, if something really bad happened during the day where I would want to drink, I would go home and maybe eat like 5 cookies instead of drinking, or there was something else. And I would wake up the next morning without a hangover, and I made it through that thing. Or I would watch an Eagles game, a huge Eagles fan, and they would win. Yes, I couldn't drink to celebrate that. I would just go to sleep sober, wake up, and I was like, man, I'm actually making it without drinking. So by doing these small wins, I started to gain my confidence back. And then another thing I started doing was every Saturday morning when my schedule would allow it, I started doing these ruck marches. And I called it my weekly celebration of sobriety because while I was drinking, the last thing I'd want to do Saturday morning hungover is put a 60-pound ruck on and go walk 5 miles in the woods.
Yep.
So this was now holding me accountable. And by switching the narrative and viewing it as a weekly celebration of sobriety, it was kind of a way of doing the ticks of how many weeks I've been sober. So doing that was a huge thing for me because I'm a Capricorn, which is an earth sign. So I would get a lot of inspiration in the woods for my business, for video ideas, for marketing, whatever it may be. And I would walk all the time while I was actively drinking. But now that I'm sober, I would go on these walks and it would just be crickets, just me and Mother Nature, which is kind of cool. But around the 6 month mark, I got kind of fed up, and God was a big part of my sobriety. I'm very religious, go to church, and I leaned on Him a lot. One day I was walking through the woods with my rucksack on. I'm like, God, here I am. I'm 6 months sober. I'm able, like, you know, that verse in the Bible, you send me. Here I am, send me. So I'm
Yep.
telling God, I'm like, God, here I am sober. I think I'm on the path you want me to be on. Use me. Let me be a conduit for your word. Like, how can I help other people? And no lie, clear as day, I heard this sober vet in my head. And I'm like, this sober vet. Now, mind you, I'd never listened to podcasts. I may have listened to one or two Joe Rogan podcasts in my life. I wasn't a podcast person, but after hearing this sober vet, I was like, time out. Is that a way where I could kind of bring a new conversation to the world with normalizing sobriety with veterans? That's like a really good vehicle to reach the masses. So I go home, I'm on fire. I'm like, babe, God talked to me. He gave me this mission, this sober vet, blah, blah, blah. And I'm going nuts. My wife is like, that's cool and all, but you're just like one vet that quit drinking. Like you need to have like a co-host with credentials. Like you should team up with a veteran who's a therapist, and then together you guys could be that sober vet. And I'm like, damn, that's a really good idea. So I had a big network, or at least I thought I did, being a business owner. I know 1,000 veterans and I knew 100 therapists. I didn't know one therapist that was also a vet. So like a month and a half, 2 months go by. Now I'm getting down on myself because I'm like, man, God literally gave me this gem and I'm already fumbling it. I'm like, what is happening? So one Sunday before church, I'm scrolling through IG and I see Sergeant Thomas, who was our supply sergeant when we were deployed. She had just posted something about evolve therapy. And I'm like, oh crap, Sergeant Thomas, she's a therapist. So I DM'd her right away. I was like, hey, Sergeant T, I know it's been a while. It's Yurick. I had this really cool idea. Can you call me this afternoon? So she calls me. I tell her about my journey, what this idea is. She was like, absolutely, I would love to do that with you. So now it's me and Dr. T. Um, Episode one, I told my story because I figured like if I want my guests to be vulnerable, I would have to be vulnerable. I got to lead by example. So episode one was me telling my story and introducing Dr. T. And then episode two and moving forward, we have all veterans, all branches, different years, different ranks, and everything, just telling their sobriety wins. And the reason why we're doing this is just to be a light for those that are still in the dark, because no one's going to quit until they're ready. But if we could create a little crack in the dam and just to plant a seed of them thinking like, look, if all these other veterans can do it, you can do it too. Like that's our real mission. Like I always tell my wife, if each episode inspires one person to consider sobriety, that's mission accomplished for me. And we've been doing this a year. We started last November. We just released season two, episode one. So we're on episode 26, which is a blessing. And it tells me that there's a need for what we're doing because I'm booked out till the end of February.
Heck yeah, no. I mean, there is a need for what you doing because there's a lot of stigma about veterans and drinking. A lot of people don't want to talk about it, and that's what we need to break. We need to break that stigma, and that goes with anything veteran related because there's a lot of stigmas out there when is related. Like there's veterans asking for help. Oh, you shouldn't do that. You're macho. You shouldn't ask for help. Or I need help with drinking or alcohol or drugs or whatever out there. So I want to say thank you for doing that because, like I said, I am a recovering alcoholic. I do drink every now and then, and it's very rare. I know we talked beforehand, but my wife, me and her, we've been married for 20 years, and she's seen me drunk twice. So I don't do that very often, and I try not to go down that slippery slope because I know that it is a slippery slope. Like I said, I
Mhm.
was born and raised in Barstown, Kentucky, where 90% of the world's bourbon's made. My whole family is alcoholics. My grandmothers, my grandpas, my aunts, uncles, all they drink a lot. So it was something that I grew up around. And it's something that I thought was natural. Hey, you just you drink to have a good time. Um, and then when I joined the military, I started drinking to forget, and to help ease the night tremors and stuff of that nature. And I know after my deployments to Haiti and stuff like that my drinking did amplify because of the stuff that I did see there, the moral injury and stuff that I received from there. And it does take a while. And my wife, for the longest time, she's like, "Oh, you don't need to drink. You don't need to drink." And then her dad was a very big alcoholic, grandparents as well, and her dad was never physically abusive, but very mentally abusive when he was drinking and stuff like that. So she was like, "Well, I don't want to raise my kids around that. I don't want my kids to see that." So for the longest time, I didn't drink around my kids. And it's just one of those things. So we have to break that stigma. And I wish there were more podcasts out there like yours, where they're talking about, sobriety, or, breaking that male bravado. Oh, you need to ask for help. Breaking the stigmas. I think that would be a good podcast name. Break stigmas. I think that would be a good podcast name, but
Hmm.
I ain't got the time for that, so I'm not gonna. Do it. But Maria over here, she's like, this right here. I want to go back to this comment here. When I was controlling, I wasn't enjoying. When I was enjoying, I wasn't in control. That
Yep, that's
that is
deep.
so that is deep,
Yep.
because if you're an alcoholic out there, you're not in control. Alcohol's in control. That's when
Hmm.
you're enjoying it, when the alcohol is controlling it. When you're trying to control and limit how much alcohol you're drinking, you're not enjoying it.
Yep.
So that's where out that is so deep, Marie. Yeah. Um, and then she goes, I love what you're both are doing, sharing your stories and healing out loud. Yeah. I mean, that's what it's all about. With your podcast is your way of keep helping you heal.
Hmm.
This podcast for me, where I reach out to nonprofits and veteran business owners and stuff. This is my therapy here as well. So it is our healing out loud. So I definitely love that. So now you've got your podcast. So you do recorded episodes. You release what on the
First and third Monday of the month.
first and third Monday of the month, and people can
Mhm.
find you on all social media platforms.
All
Um,
of them, and YouTube, and on our website, www.thissobervet.com.
nice. So ha- you said you're booked out to February already. Now, do you sit down like on one weekend and record several episodes, or do you just record one episode, do all your editing, then get it ready? How do you set up your recordings?
Yeah, we usually record like one episode a week or every other week, and then we'll edit it. Like right now, we have like 6 episodes backlogged. But it one thing that I did want to mention though is when considering sobriety or even doing the sobriety journey, your support system is everything. Like you really need to learn to humble yourself. When I first quit, I went and found a male therapist, and he was an addict, he was an alcoholic, and he was addicted to meth for a while. And like his stories were pretty wild, but I knew that he was going through it. So you need to find, even if like a lot of people try AA, like I went to a couple AA meetings and it really wasn't for me. Even if you go to one A meeting, go to multiple ones to see like what fits you. And again, therapists, I went through 3 different therapists until I found this gentleman, because the first two were like, number one, I felt like I was being judged. The second one was a female, and like I just couldn't really open up to her. But this third one was this gentleman who's been through addiction. So like support system is everything. And I was lucky enough that my wife is a complete rock star. Like she dealt with me, because in the beginning, dude, my emotions, like my kids never see me cry, and then all of a sudden we're watching like a Disney movie on Friday and I'm bawling my eyes out. I'm like, what is happening? Like it's so bizarre, and they look over there like, oh my God, dad's crying. Why is dad crying? What's wrong? Like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy to now enjoy your emotions, because there's nothing to mask them or shut them down. But in the beginning, dude, it could be a wild ride because
Oh
you're
yeah.
not used to just letting them free. And yeah, everything, like you have to do this with support. So I don't know one person in this world that's strong enough to do this alone. So humble yourself and rely on others.
Yeah, that's where you have to, like you said, rely on others. And luckily for me, I went through detox, and when I came back, like I said, I had a really great chain of command, and the guys that were there, they helped me stay on the straight and narrow. And I did go through the detox, and I knew I had a problem, and I think most alcoholics know that we have a problem. We just don't care. And when it got to the point where it was affecting what I loved doing, and that was being a Marine, that's when I was like, all right, now I really have a problem. I definitely need help. And luckily, the chain of command, like I said, they took care of me. And helped me along my journey. And then when I got out, I got recalled pretty much. So I got out August of '01, and then 9/11 happened, and I called, and I was working at a factory. I was on terminal leave working at a factory in Bardstown, and 9/11 happened. I was staying at my mom's place, and I was like, "Hey," um, and I say staying. I was loosely staying there because I was hoeing around at the time, so I was at different girls' places and stuff, and drinking a little bit, here and there. And I was like, I'm probably going to get recalled because I was infantry. I was 0311. I was like, I'm
Mhm.
probably going to get recalled. And she goes, "Well, how will you know?" I said, "Well, just be waiting for that Western Union to come knock on your door." She goes, "Western Union?" I was like, "Yeah, they're going to." I said, "They're going to send a telegram." She goes, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, that's how the military does it. If we get recalled, we're getting a telegram, Western Union style." Sure enough, a couple weeks later, she calls. I forget where I was at. She goes, "Western Union came today." I was like, "All right, did you sign for it or did you not sign for it?" She goes, "I signed for it." I was like, "Shit." So I had to go home. I had to go to mom's house and read it, and it said, sure enough, please report back to Camp Lejeune for combat refresher training.
Mm.
So I went back in, and I served until '04. That's when I got out. The second time was '04. Now during this process, my current wife, the one I've been with for 23 years, we had dated, we had broke up, we had dated, we had broke up. And when I got out the second time in '04, she met me at the bus stop when I came back via
Mm.
Greyhound. She
Wow.
met me at she met me at the bus stop in Louisville, Kentucky at 3:30 in the morning.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and I was expecting my dad. Like I had called my dad and said, "Hey, Dad, I'm going to be in Louisville at 3:30 in the morning at the Greyhound. Can you meet me there?" Because that's where my dad kind of lives in, or kind of lived in that area. And he goes, "Yeah, I'll be there." He wasn't there. She was, and we've been together ever since. And I think the good Lord, like you said, he's leading the way. He put somebody who was very strong-willed into my life at that time to help guide me and keep me on the path that I needed to be on. Because if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be the man that I am today. I probably would be in jail somewhere, more than likely.
Same
Because
here, brother. Yeah.
because I had some friends that did wind up in prison and stuff like that, and I was probably could have just followed them straight to off of a cliff because that's just how loyal I was to my group of friends from back home. And it's just one of those things. We just have to depend on each other, and we have to have that good support system to help us when we're ready. Because you said it best, we have to be ready
Yeah.
to get help and to accept help. Because if you're not, nothing anybody does out there is going to help us.
Right.
We have to be ready to accept that help, and that's where we have to break those stigmas of, all right, I need help, can you help me, and be ready to receive that help. So no, man, I love it. And Marie's over, she's like, get him here on into tots and cav arts. We could talk offline about the tip of the spear, which is coming up next week. I think next week. Yeah, the 17th. So we could talk about that. So we do our tip of the spear veteran roundtable. We do it the last Wednesday of each month, unless there's holidays. So December, you got two holidays coming up, the 24th and 31st, uh,
Hmm.
which so we're going to do it on the 17th. And on the tip of the spear, it's all veteran podcasters. Every now and
Nice.
then we bring in guest veterans, like this week we'll have General Kelly, United States Air Force retired, three-star general. Better say three-star general retired. Brian Kelly from the Air Force. He's the president and CEO of MOA at the present moment in time. So he's going to be on. Don Bramer with the Bramer Group, who is um, co-founder of American Freedom Fund.
Mm.
He will be on as well, and I'm hoping. Today's you know what? I might know in a couple days. So I'm up for an award for through the American Freedom Fund for Best Veteran Podcast of the Year, and
Nice, congrats.
their gala is on the 10th. Unfortunately, I was unable to make it attend. What's up, Rich LaMonica? And also Rich LaMonica with the Misfit Nation. He's also up for it as well. I think
Nice.
he's heading up to DC that day to go to the gala. I wish I could go, but unfortunately, work says nope, you can't go. So I'll be here doing my work stuff. But yeah, so we'll get you. I'm gonna get you connected with the tots, and then she was talking about Cav Arts. So if you haven't signed up for cavarts.org, you said you were artsy, right? You said you love art and stuff like that.
To me, I
Yeah.
do. I love everything. Yeah.
So Cav Arts is Challenge America Veterans in the Arts. So
Okay.
cavarts.org. We have what we call the art of podcasting on there, and that is for us. So Rich says he'll be there to accept my award, bro. I hope you win, Rich. You or I don't care. If you win, I'll be very ecstatic if you win. But if I win, I'll be ecstatic too. So, but you can accept my award for me if I win, Rich. If you won, I'll write you a speech. But no, man, yeah. So we're gonna get you connected with that, and I also want to get you on like Rich's show if you haven't already got connected. If Marie hasn't already got you connected with Rich, and some other veteran podcasters as well. But that's the good thing about networking with the tip of the spear. Um, can you split it? I wish, Murray, I wish. With the tip of the spear, it's all veteran podcasters, and we all
Nice.
do something very similar on our podcast, but also very different on our podcast. So we definitely want to get you involved in that. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
and then Rich would definitely have you on his show as well, because like I said, your niche within the veteran podcasting realm is very unique. Not a lot of people are out there talking about sobriety.
Yeah.
So you definitely have a very good niche within the veteran podcasters. So
It's
so
funny
tell,
you mentioned that too. So real quick, so I'm a business owner. I own two J-Dog junk removal and hauling franchises, and I have the Lancaster and Southern Lancaster County, and I've been doing that for 8 years. A lot of items that we pick up on jobs is not junk. So we have a warehouse where we take donatable items to. We donate a lot of items to local veterans. Like we do a lot of give back to the community. It's a real feel good mission. So for 8 years, anytime I've been at networking events, I usually have a J-Dog sign behind me and I represent that. And 90% of people know us and love what we do. We have these camo trucks. We're very like obnoxiously beautiful marketing. Well, now that I'm repping this sober vet, we're in Pennsylvania, Lancaster, Pennsylvania, about 45 minutes west of Philadelphia. So now that I'm repping this sober vet, I've been to a couple events and the reaction literally is 50-50 black and white. Either people look and be like, oh, nope, I'm good. You know, you could tell they're the active drinkers, or other people, 40, wow, congratulations, Rich. That's outstanding. Very
that's
nice.
freaking amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Keep fighting a good fight. Or people will look at me and go, "Oh my God, I'm so glad you're doing this. My uncle's an alcoholic. My dad was an alcoholic." Or they have some sort of story. So it's either people are totally against it, do not want to talk to me, or people like run over and are like, "This is amazing so much." So it is much needed because, again, I'm bringing a new conversation to the market. I'm trying to normalize sobriety with veterans who are using and abusing substances in a harmful, self-medicating way. I'm not against anyone drinking. I'm not against anyone smoking weed or doing edibles. If you could do it responsibly, more power to you. This is more for people like me where I can't have one drink. Like you could literally, Willis, you could be like, Joe, I bet you $1 million you can't just have this one beer. I would not take the $1 million because after that beer, my brain would be on fire. Like I'd be itching
Yeah.
to have another one. You know, it's just the way I am. Yeah, I'm in Amish country. Yep, that's the only traffic jams around here are caused by Amish buggies.
The buggies, yeah.
Yep,
So Rich, he's up there near Adam up there. I wish Adam would join on or come in the comments tonight, but Adam is I want to say he's in Lancaster, Pennsylvania as well. Uh
nice.
but yeah, so uh no, yeah, you get that 50-50 because there's some people out there, like we said, they don't want the help. They're
Mhm.
not ready to accept their help, and they're like, "Well, why are you doing that?" And then
Right.
then you got people that have stories that have lived through family members being alcoholics, whether abusive physically or mental or verbally, or mentally, however you want to look at it. And they're like, "Oh man, I love that you're doing this," and then you're highlighting it. It's one of those unspeaking or unspoken uh, things that a lot of people don't want to talk about. You know,
Right.
they wanna hide it. They wanna hide it in the shadows, and so,
Mhm.
"Oh, well, I don't know anybody who drinks that heavy," but yet mom or dad or grandma or grandpa is secretly, uh, drinking on the tractor or, every vehicle that they own has a bottle of whiskey or bourbon on it.
Right.
Um,
Yep.
so yeah, it's crazy because my granddaddy, when I was younger, they had a 110-acre farm up in, outside of Hodgenville, Kentucky, and it had two driveway entrances, and their driveway was a mile and a half long. Now, this
Wow.
driveway technically was a county road, unpaved, so it was a rock road, unpaved. This is the only guy that I knew that got a DUI in his driveway on his tractor.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yes, that's some Kentucky stuff right there, let me
That
tell you.
is
He
absolutely.
literally drove his tractor to check his mail at the end of the driveway, didn't even get on, like, the main paved road, but he drove to the end of the driveway, parked in this little parking spot there, got off the tractor, checked his mail, got back on his tractor, drove down, and there was a state boy sitting there waiting in another little
Wow.
cutoff
Mm.
and pulled him over on his tractor on his unpaved road. Um, so
That's wild.
what my granddaddy wound up doing is he was the one that would take care of the road. Like he would grade it and all of that. He just said, "Screw it, I'm not going to grade the other section anymore. It's just going to be this one section." So the cops couldn't come in on the backside to catch him. So of course everybody knew him. He's definitely never. It wasn't his first DUI. Let's put it that way.
Gotcha.
Um,
I'm tracking.
so but yeah, no, man, it's something that we definitely need to talk more about. Whether, like you said, I don't mind if people are drinking responsibly, and I
Mhm.
don't mind if they're, doing the THC responsibly. As long as you're doing it responsibly, you go for it.
Right.
I'm not gonna condemn you because you're doing it. It's not for me anymore. Like alcohol's not for me anymore. Like I said, I will drink every now and then. It's very rare. I mean, this bottle here is 4 branches, and it's probably gonna be there forever because I have several other bottles upstairs that are partially opened, and they've been like that for however long. What's up, Al Hero? How are you, sir? Al Hero is one of the co-hosts of Triple Threat Vets podcast.
Nice.
Al's in Florida, and the other two guys are in Texas, and they go live on Thursday nights, and they do an amazing show as well. So um, all the podcasters are coming in tonight. I love it. I love it. But yeah, man, I love your mission. I love what you're doing. I love that you're giving back through your, with your business, giving back to the veteran community that way, with with the warehouse, with the things that you pick up from people's homes and stuff with the business. Because like you said, it's not always junk that you're picking up. Because it
Right.
might be a foreclosed home and they're like, oh, let's call the junk removal people. And you go in, then there's a whole bedroom set that's really good condition, uh, refrigerators and stuff like that. And you're like, there's veterans in our communities that could use this. So
Absolutely.
we have Sergeant Junk here locally in my area, which is he's an Army veteran, Ronnie Knuckles, and he does the same thing with his junk removal. He'll go to houses and
Nice.
stuff like that, and he also gives back to his community. So I love that you're doing the same thing as well. It's phenomenal because there's a very big need for it out there.
Hmm.
Um, so I love it. Sorry, I was checking TikTok too over here because we are live on TikTok. Just make sure we're not missing any questions or anything. So, is there anything? that we haven't discussed that you want to discuss?
The benefits of being sober, and again, for anyone who's thinking about starting this journey, I never sugarcoat it. It is the hardest thing that I've ever done in my life, but it's also the most rewarding thing I've ever done in my life. So for anyone on the fence, I challenge you to do this. Quit for 6 months. Just that's totally obtainable. That's like a rotation overseas. We could all do something for 6 months. At the end of the 6 months, reassess your life. What I noticed was my health was better. My relationships were better. My sleep was better. My money was better because I wasn't wasting it, pissing away alcohol and then buying stupid shit online after I was buzzed up. So like I noticed my money was way better, but just everything is better. Like, and again, if you tried for 6 months and at the end of 6 months you don't see any benefit, the misery of drinking and alcohol, that'll still be there. You could always go back to it. But again, I challenge you, yeah, one day at a time, 6 months, and each day one thing my therapist, that male therapist I told you about earlier, he told me because I was like, dude, there are times where like all I think about is drinking. Like it's just a loop in my head. Like, what do I do on those days? And he's like, just tell yourself you'll get a beer tomorrow. Make it to your pillow, get today over with, and tomorrow you'll get a beer. So just know that as long as I make it through today, tomorrow I'll mess up tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes, but it kind of calms your mind down, thinking
Mm,
that like it is that carrot dangling over there, like that beer will
yeah.
be there tomorrow, but you never end up buying it. But it helps you get through that day. And for every day you hit your pillow sober, it's just so much better for you. Because if you think about it, like life is short and we're only given this one body this lifetime. Why destroy it, dude? Like I was wrecking my body. When I quit drinking, I literally lost 50 pounds in like 3 months because I was drinking these double IPAs. I was like tripling my daily caloric intake,
Mm,
and then I would eat pizza or something greasy and nasty, and the next day you're hungover, so you want to eat. Like
yeah.
I was huge. I was swollen and just destroying my body. And now that I'm sober, I see beauty in things that I've never seen before. Like just something as simple as my son and I have more inside jokes now. Um, my wife trusts me. She knows that if I need to pick the boys up at 7:30, I'm reliable now. I'm not going to lie about where I am. I'm not going to be drinking on my way there. Like, yeah, everything. Yeah, Marie, you're absolutely right. Yeah, those minutes, days, and months become years again, one day, 1 minute at a time, and it all adds up. And when you look back, like literally, there's one thing I regret about sobriety, and that's I wish I did this shit like 10 years ago, dude. Imagine where
Yeah.
I'd be today. Like, oh my gosh, that's literally my only regret is. But again, my wife had the intestinal fortitude and the love for me to give me that ultimatum. So thank God for her, because after my 6 month mark, she told me, she was like, I'm gonna be honest, like I really didn't think you would choose us. She was like, and I wouldn't know what to tell my friends and family. Like, I love this man. I just don't love when he drinks, and he's starting to drink more than he doesn't. And yeah, she was willing to lose this relationship and this foundation that we built because she simply had enough. And luckily, I knew that she was one for me, and I would never meet another girl like her. Like she's amazing. She's not only my best friend, she's the love of my life, and like she's my biggest supporter. She's my rock. She's everything. So I'm just glad that I made the right choice because I'm a son of an alcoholic. Like my dad, as a kid, my dad would keep a cooler with Coors Light, and as he was driving around, he would have a little plastic or a paper bag behind him where he would put his empties, and I thought that was normal. So when I would drink and
Yeah.
drive, I was like, yeah, my dad did that shit too. Like it's just crazy. But
Yeah.
now I broke that generational curse. Neither of my kid, well, my youngest isn't old enough, but my oldest is 22. He doesn't drink, like, because they know they saw what it did to me and they don't want that. So like, yeah, I broke a
Yeah.
generational curse, and that to me is huge. And another thing I tell people is, I don't know if you can see this, but this says, I beat Joe Yurick. I did one thing that no one else in the world could say they did. I beat Joe Yurick. I broke my addiction, and here I am sober and thriving. And that to me is my superpower. That's why I
Mm.
wake up every morning grateful. I haven't had a hangover in over 3.5 years. Like I just love life now. It's
Oh,
amazing.
that's amazing. Yeah, yeah, that's one thing. Back in the late '80s, early '90s, that was normal. People
Oh yeah.
driving around. I mean, it got to the point where like my granddaddy, when he was drinking beer, he would take a Coke can, he would slice it down the side and slide his beer down in, like he'd cut the top off of it,
Uh-huh.
slice it so he could slide his beer down there. So when he was drinking at a red light or something, it looked like he was drinking a Coke or Mountain Dew or whatnot. So
Yeah.
and to me that was normal. And like you said, that it's not normal. And then for your wife, I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't even know her. She's super strong to give you that
Mhm.
ultimatum. Here's somebody who loves you so dearly that she gave you an ultimatum. Hey, it's us or the alcohol. And like you said, she loves you to the point where you are her person, and you're her, her soulmate, and she gave you that ultimatum, and she was willing to walk away. That's my wife has told me numerous times, and this is from a different perspective. This is my PTSD and all my anxiety and stuff like that. I didn't go to the VA. I didn't start the VA until 23. And I've been out since '04. And my wife came to me one day and she goes, "Hey, if you don't do something, I'm leaving you."
Mm.
And her and I both have said that we don't want to divorce because our parents both divorced. I don't remember my mom and dad ever being married. That's how young I was when they got a
Oh wow.
divorce. And my dad was a summertime dad. Sometimes he was here, sometimes he wasn't here.
Mm. Yep.
So, I never wanted my kids to go through that. My oldest daughter's 18, my youngest daughter's 17. My oldest daughter's in college. She's going to be an FBI agent eventually. That's what she wants to
Nice.
do. My youngest daughter wants to be a high school history teacher. Um, so they've never seen dad drunk. They've seen mom a little bit tipsy at like parties and stuff like that, but they've never seen dad. And
Nice.
I've always been there for them. And that's something that, you know, I'm grateful for that, over the course of 20 years, my wife has only seen me drunk twice. And guess what?
That's huge.
My kids have never seen it because I was
That's
never
awesome.
here when that happened. Because I won't allow myself to do that here. And when I do drink, it's like I said, 2 or 3 drinks and I'm done. When I say drinks, highballs, you know what a highball is, right? It's
Yep. Hmm.
Coke and bourbon. I'll drink 2 or 3 of those and I'm done. I'm like, all right, I'm cutting myself off. And then I usually, so I'll take a fifth with me, or 750 milliliters, whatever you want to look at it. I call it a fifth. I'll fix my 3 drinks out of that, and then the other people at the party, I'm like, hey, here you go, here's some bourbon for you, and I let them finish it off because if I keep it on me, I
Hmm.
know
You're
what's going
gone.
to happen. I'm going to keep
Yep.
pouring, and then I'm going to be like shit creek. So, um,
I hear you.
but no, man, I love what you're doing. If you ever need a guest to come on to fill a spot, let me know, or we can reach and get something scheduled, and I'll come on and tell my story. Because, like I said, I was predisposed at a very early age of drinking and stuff like that, and then I went down that rabbit hole of drinking a fifth of Jim Beam a night, and so I definitely have a story for your listeners as well. So, if you want to be on the tip of the spear, which is coming up next on the 17th. It's a Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. I can send you a calendar invite for that as well. That
Yes,
way we can
please
get
do.
you introduced to the other veteran podcasters as well on there. Hopefully Maria will show up this Wednesday, come or next Wednesday. Yeah. We'll see. See. But
Yeah,
anyway,
that'd
I
be
want to
awesome.
thank you. I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy day to come hang out with me. I do have to cut it because it's my Reach Across America radio says an hour 15, 20 minutes. So
Mm.
I do want to say thank you for coming on. Marie, thank you for the connection. I know you
Yes, thank
got
you,
us
Murray.
connected together. So but Joe, thank you. Thank you for telling your story. And I'm glad you beat Joe Yurick. That's awesome. I love it. But
Yeah,
thank you. Thank you, friend.
yeah, I appreciate the opportunity and best of luck. I hope you win that award, dude. That'd be awesome. And thank you for everything you do.
Well, thank you. Just being nominated was enough. I don't really care if I win it or not, but
Hmm.
being nominated to win, that means that I'm doing something right. That's all that matters.
Nice. Yep.
And
Yep.
if Rich wins it with Misfit Nation, he's my mentor. He's the one that's like, "Hey, you need to go do video." Because I was doing audio when I met Rich. I was doing
Mm.
audio only. I met Rich, and he's like, "Hey, man, you need to do video." I was like, "All right, let's do it. What are you using?" And that's where I started doing video. And It blew up from there, and I can't thank Rich enough. I know he's probably already doing something else because he's got his own show. Um, but it's one of those things.
Nice.
Here, I got to fix TikTok real quick, or I'm going to get booted. That's what I hate about TikTok is there we go. If you don't go every hour and slide that little puzzle piece, you get knocked off. But anyway, thank you, my friend. We will be in touch. I'll send you a calendar invite for the 17th, and then we'll talk about Cav Arts as well offline. So
Okay.
awesome, my friend. I'm gonna drop you in a green room if you want to hang out until I end the
Yep,
show,
I'll sit tight.
and then we can chit chat afterwards, and we'll go from there.
All right, brother. Thank you.
Hey, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Joe Yurick, this Sober Vet podcast, go check him out on all social media platforms. Go start back at episode 1. Hear Joe's story again from his perspective. Him telling it, not me asking questions and then him telling it. Go listen to episode 1 and check out this Sober Vet podcast. You can also find them on their website as well. Marie says bye, Joe. I know you're probably still in the comments there. But yeah, go check out this Sober Vet podcast. Man, great show, great guy. I love his story. I love his mission to break stigmas around drinking and being sober. A lot of vets, we use alcohol and drugs to help combat our demons, but we can combat our demons without abusing alcohol and illicit drugs. So definitely ask for help. Break that stigma. You're not too strong to ask for help. Man, I wish Gunny was here because Gunny says it best, man. You're not alone. Don't let your dark days win, man. Show up tomorrow because somebody needs you to be here. And then this right here. To every veteran who carries unseen scars, know this: you're not alone. The battles within don't have to be fought in silence because your brothers and sisters still stand beside you. This is the second part. The uniform may come off, but the bond remains. And together we heal, we rise, and we carry each other forward. Man, that's just so powerful, guys. It's just so powerful. Hashtag be someone stranger. Look, we talk about this on every episode of Homefront Sit Rep, and I'm going to keep talking about it until I'm 6 feet underground. Be someone stranger. Listen, we as humans, we're more apt to talk to a complete stranger than the ones we love the most. So be someone stranger. So if you're out and about and you see somebody and it looks like they're having a bad day, go up to them, say, hey, how are you doing? And if they give you the red flags, I'm okay, I'm hanging in there, I'm living a dream, ask the next hard question. How are you really doing? But be ready for that conversation because it could be a 5-minute conversation, could be an 8-hour conversation, but be ready for that conversation. And then it takes a village. It really does take a village, man. Gunny talks about cell phone roulette all the time on your cell phone. We have our tribe, our village right here on our cell phone. So do this. Open up your contacts. Go through your contacts blindly. Close your eyes. Just swipe. Hit it and see who it lands on. Call that person. And if they answer, talk to them. Say, hey, man, I've been thinking about you. How you doing? Blah, blah, blah. They don't answer, leave a voicemail. Say, hey, it's Willis. I'm just calling and check in on you. You never know. Your voice might save their life or their voice might save your life. And like I said, if they don't answer, do it again. Do cell phone roulette again. See who answers. And keep doing that until you get a hold of somebody. And just check on your tribe, your people, man. It might be somebody you hadn't talked to in 20 years. But just call and say, hey, man, I've been thinking about you lately. You never know what they're going through. Big shout out to our partners, Heroes Media Group. Adam Bird at Heroes Media Group is friggin' phenomenal. I love Heroes Media Group. Adam is when I first met Adam, we kind of clicked right off the get-go, and then he's just became one of my closest friends. I can't say anything bad about the guy. He's phenomenal. Reese Across America Radio. You can find Homefront Sit Rep on reaseacrossamerica.org, or actually reaseacrossamerica.org /radio. You can find us there Thursday nights, 11 p.m. Eastern. That's Thursday nights, 11 p.m. Eastern. Same flag, same oath.com. They made this amazing shirt back here. It says Marine It Down on it. You can find it there on same flag, same oath.com underneath the t-shirts, and then co-branded. You can scroll down, you can find it there. Or you can go to homefrontsitrep.com, and there's on our merch site, you can get our hat, which is from Elite Engraving, or our shirt is linked there as well. Big shout out to Military United Podcast Streams, Mr. Brian Roof with Every Day's a Saturday USMC Veteran Podcast. He created MUPS. Want to give him a big shout out as well. Valor Coins and Pen, who did our Homefront Sit Rep coin. This thing is phenomenal. Let's see if I get it to focus. I might have autofocus turned off. But anyway, that's our coin there. And there's a surprise on the back. I ain't gonna give that away, but you can check that out. Valor Coins and Pens. They do amazing things. Brian Casey and Brent Casey, the grandsons of Herschel Woody Williams, who is a Medal of Honor recipient, created the Woody Williams Foundation. And then Valor Coins and Pens, they use that money to go over to the Woody Williams Foundation to do monuments for Gold Star families. So go check out Valor Coins and Pens. Let's see who else. RDC Shoe Company, Mr. Darren Davis with RDC Shoes. If you don't know who RDC Shoes is, you definitely need to check out RDC Shoe Company. They got some amazing shoes. They got the Glory, the Patriot, and then the Folds of Honor shoe that they have. Man, it's phenomenal. Let's see here. Am I forgetting anybody? Trying to think if I'm forgetting anybody. I think that's everybody. I think that Cav Arts. Yeah, I can't. There we go. Cavarts.org. Challenge America. I love our partnership with Challenge America. Miss Megan, it has been amazing, and the whole team at Cav Arts has been amazing. They allowed Homefront Sit Rep, Misfit Nation, Triple Threat Vets Podcast, and Oscar Mike Radio come on there and create the art of podcasting. And this month coming up, so we just had our one for December, but January 7th, on that episode, we're going to let people in chat come up and interview us. We got some people that are very interested in creating their own podcast. They're all veterans. So we're going to allow them to come up, ask one or two questions, and then we'll bring the next guest up. So I'm super excited about that. So if you are a veteran and you love arts, go check out cavarts.org. Wizard of TikTok says, could you help my video get more views for my fundraiser? Chat with me. Send me a message, Wizard of TikTok. I don't know who you are off the top of my head, but shoot me a DM. So yeah, go check out cavarts.org. Also, go challengeamerica.com. That's the main nonprofit, challengeamerica.com. Go check them out. And then since Marie's in chat, go check out sliderbabe.com as well. Miss Marie is amazing. I love her to death. Her story is phenomenal as well. So go check out sliderbabe.com as well. But it is that time of night, my friends. Like we always say on Homefront Sit Rep, stay safe out there. We got your six. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed this show.
Suggestions and comments are always welcome.
Cannot wait to have another great show with y'all.
Don't forget you can find Homefront Sit Rep on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
Stay safe out there. I got your six.